So I changed my mind. I was going to make something similar to Brian May's guitar. Then I thought, nah, I might have a go at doing something a little bit more true to the design. So this is where we're at. There was a chap on the Red Special Forum. It's a website. And he was good enough to put up his designs just on paper, but fairly detailed drawings with fairly detailed dimensions. So I've copied those dimensions and I've made my own CAD model. So this is how it looks. So what we're going to do is make a body, make a neck. I'm going to try and make the pick guard here, these outers here. I've ordered these two parts, the tremolo and the bridge. I've ordered these two knobs from Cybershop. I've ordered some Switchcraft switches, which are a little bigger than the original, so I'll have to change the design a little bit. My machine heads, tuner pots down here have already arrived. I've ordered some white plastic pearl knobs for them. And I'll show you my drawings. This is where it's at. We'll make things disappear for a bit. So first thing we'll do is start with, we'll switch off the neck. And we'll just go straight onto the body. So that's the body. If I switch off the pick guard, okay, shows the internals. I'll switch off the binding. So there it is without the binding. I'll switch off the tremolo. Oh, there's the bridge. The tremolo. There we go. So that's the body. So I'll be CNC milling the body. Now it's actually cut. It's 40 millimeters thick and it's cut in two parts and then glued together. So we'll just switch off the top part of it, and that shows the inner side. So on the Red Special, Brian May designed it to almost have an acoustic design to it, so that it does resonate somewhat. So that's the inside of his guitar. His best was recreated by another enthusiast by the name of Doug. Now it's got these holes here. A few people that have made replicas of this guitar have put these holes in, and I asked why, and they say because it's on the original, so I will put them on too. And I will probably field those questions as well. They're there because they're on the original. So we'll CNC mill this part, the inside, and then my plan is to make a jig and then flip it over and then mill the slot for the binding. So that's the plan. I could probably, depending on where the tremolo sits inside here, I don't have it yet. As I said, I've ordered that from the Cybershop, so I haven't put it into the drawing. There's holes through here, so you can adjust the tension of the springs. I'll just show you I sort of drew up a representation of one. So there's some bolts here. You tighten up these bolts, and it increases the tension on the springs, so that it increases the tension up here essentially and pulls tighter on the strings. So you sort of find a balance to keep the guitar in tune. So there's holes back here which aren't represented on this drawing, which you put a screwdriver through to tension up these two springs. I will probably, if I can, mill them. If not, I'll have to drill them. So we'll see what happens. Now the top bit of it, I'll switch that off. I'll put the top bit on. The top bit looks like that, and the inside of it looks like that. So you basically put it on your CNC milling table and you mill the inside first, and then I would be flipping it over into a jig and milling this shape, and also milling the parts here for the pickups, which I haven't drawn in yet. And I think a fair bit of this, if not all of it, will be cut away so that I can fit the tremolo supports on here, but like I said, I haven't received that yet. So once I get that, I'll know what I'm doing. So that's the body of the guitar. Put it back together again. These holes here, I believe, were for brass bolts that were just glued in there. Basically terminal posts, so that when you got your pickups, you put your wires to them, which I'll do the same thing. Now, while I'm in here, I'll just turn on the switches. So the Switchcraft switches sit inside. I'll turn off the Switchcraft. No, it's there. I can't turn off the bracket at the minute, but the bracket, as you can see, it cuts into the original design of the guitar. If I turn off the bottom, we'll flip it over. And the bottom, we'll flip it over. So you can see how the switches actually get into the line of the body. So we'll probably have to trim this up a little bit more just to fit that. It shouldn't cause any issues. If I put the pick guard back on, it's a little bit bigger. I'll turn it transparent. So the pick guard, you can see, is still covering where the extra cut would be in order to fit the plate for the Switchcraft switches. So that shouldn't be an issue. Unfortunately, I've got to alter the original design a little bit, but we do what we have to do in this instance. If I could get more accurate switches, then I would be okay, but I can't. So we'll switch them off. Switches. Switchcraft switches off. I'll turn it back to a solid drawing. And we'll put the guitar back together. So switches in. We can put the pots in. So that's where your potentiometers sit. They just fit in there nicely. There'll be a bracket made for those guys as well. The bottom of the guitar is here. So all inside. The pick guard sits over the top like that. So I'll make all this out of black plastic, and I'll mill these as well on the CNC machine. I was doing some research online, and it doesn't look too difficult really, just requiring some sanding of the edges because it is a beveled edge. What else have we got? Alright, let's examine the neck now. So if I get rid of the body of the guitar, we'll just put the neck back on. So there's the neck. I'll turn the body off. We'll turn the pots off. We'll turn the switches off. The strings I've just drawn in to see what the clearance was between the E string here, which I've kind of given a bit more body to. So this is kind of the true thickness of an E string. Seems to be enough clearance there on all the frets. The neck itself has a 2-degree angle from the body. You can see just here the angle, and if I switch it all back on again, you'll see the neck actually tilts down a bit. And the headstock, the head of the guitar, sits another 4 degrees on that angle there. So there's that. We'll switch off these strings. We'll switch off. Now, I believe the radius I put on here was a 7.25 radius, 7.25 inch radius, which I'll just CNC mill up. I've had a go at doing a fretboard, and it seems fairly straightforward. The machine can cut that, and then I can cut the slots for the frets easy enough. If I turn off the frets, turn off the dots, I'll cut holes for those as well. I've ordered a bunch of pearl dots. We'll turn off the fretboard, and that's the shape of the neck. Now, I'm not sure, this is probably a bit more rounded than it should be down this end here. I've curved it in more than it probably should be along here, but I might have a go at fixing that. I just, if I can find some more reference pictures, or just make some alterations to it. So there's the neck. I just need to find a piece of mahogany. Well, this is very difficult in Australia to find mahogany, but find a decent hardwood that is 36 or 35 millimeters thick from here to here. So this is the base angle along the fretboard that you would, if I turn on the box, hang on the neck box. So it kind of sits like that. So this is 30 mil thick to there. I could use 30 mil and then glue another bit on to just catch that tail bit if I can't find anything decent. If I can find a 40 mil piece, then I'll be able to cut it in one go. But there it is there. We'll turn off that box. So that's the drawing. As near as I can do. We'll put the guitar back together again, so we'll switch everything back on. The strings, the fretboard, the frets, the dots, the strings, the nut at the end was already on. And we'll turn on the top of the body, the bottom of the body. Then we'll turn on the Switchcraft switches, which I ordered from the UK. Seem to be the place to get them from. We'll turn on the pots. What else do we need? A tremolo, the bridge, and the pickguard, and the knobs. So there it is. So my plan went from making something semi-close to hopefully something a bit more accurate. Oh, I forgot the binding. Let's turn the binding on. There's the binding. So that's how it's sort of going to look. Yeah, made a few different items in my life, and I actually made a guitar at school many years ago, bass guitar. But this one here should be a great project to work on. Okay, so here I'm just testing my centering. So I've put the absolute 0 on the homing of the machine down in this bottom corner. I've just bolted it down on the table and then changed the G-code so that it knew exactly where this corner was. I bolted it down and it seems to be tracking pretty close. I don't see any movement there. It's got a slight movement in this corner down here, but I think we're pretty much dead on there. So I should be able to use this jig to mill the binding and where the pickups go. This sort of procedure, I guess, would be extremely handy for guitar alterations too, if you've got one of the Brian May specials and you wanted it to upgrade it. I don't do upgrades, but the people that do could probably do this sort of thing to make the process a little less manual labour intensive. It's just catching here. Yeah. Alright, so I'm happy with that. So next thing I might do is, before I make my attempt at doing the real thing, I might have a test go. But a neighbour the other day threw out an old coffee table that was it's just so heavy. It's just timber, solid timber. So I might cut that up and have a go at Just doing some test cuts. Yeah, so here's the table, coffee table the neighbour threw out for rubbish the other day. It's hardwood, I don't know what it is, but it's bloody heavy. So we're looking at about, rusty old ruler, at about 30 mil of thickness here. This one here at the bottom is 30 mil as well, and this side one is 40 mil, but it's all stuck together, so I can't use this for much really. Thought I might, if I had had a bit of depth I could have tried a neck there, but I guess I could always glue something together. But yeah, so what I'll do is, before I use my Tassie oak that I bought, I'll probably just mill it out of this, mill the two sides, and I'll hollow it out and get the pickup holes cut, get everything done in this just as a sample to see how it goes, and then yeah, try the real thing with the timber that I actually purchased.